What's going on, guys? My name is Rumble Skrash. In today's video we're gonna be talking about the new meta in JP that has come out with the brand new legend Kizaru and a new PvP limited rare recruit Moria. As I talked about in my video talking about these two new units, I talked about that the meta changed, but not in the same way as the meta changed when the NL, so this NL and Rebecca Toy Soldier came out and finished the slasher meta, because the slasher was dominating everything, and then this side team came out, and then it just this was straight up the best team. So it's a little bit different than that, even though it looks very similar, because Kizaru and Moria are straight up kind of a copy paste of NL and Rebecca Toy Soldier, and just changing the word slasher for quick. Kind of a little bit, but the consequences in the meta are actually very, very interesting, because as I talked about in my video talking about the brand new units, so basically the quick team, as you guys already know, is based on destroying strength team. And if you think about it, the quick team in the normal game is very effective against strength, and this is actually also happening in PvP now, because you have units like Shiryu dealing extra 2000 fixed damage to strength, Akainu dealing extra 1.5 damage to strength, and apart from them just being very, very fast and very, very high damage dealing, while strength has low defense, so they just get destroyed. So this is one of the things that you already guys know, but I just talk about it. So here in the strength team, as you guys know, in the normal game, strength team is very, very effective against Dex, and in Pyro Rumble 2 now, with the units like Kaku massively debuffing the defense of Dex units, units like Toki also massively debuffing the defense of Dex units, and also Kaku debuffs their special CT. So as you guys see, it's like quick beats strength, strength beats quick, but the problem we had, it was that Dex wasn't beating quick, so the circle wasn't complete, it was just quick beating Dex. So in a way the quick team was dominating PvP, because there was no team that was straight up countering them. But now this has changed with Kizaru and Moria, so now Dex team destroys quick, and now you have the circle of these three colors is closed, and you have quick beating strength, strength beating Dex, and Dex beating quick. So now this is a very, very cool thing that has happened, because it's kind of coherent with the normal game. But now the interesting part is these two colors. So as you guys know, these two colors in the normal game are super effective against each other. So, but the problem is that in Pyro Rumble it's difficult to do that. So basically what is happening in Pyro Rumble with this brand new meta and everything is that in general, I would say, if you attack in team with a side team, you will get timeout, because it's just never ending. The units heal, and well, and also if you replace, for example, the B3 low with the Straw Hat crew, for example, if you do something like this, I would say, like maybe even this, like I would use B3 low, but you can use the Straw Hat crew somewhere in the side team, so you get massive healing. The quick team also heals with these two units, kind of, and then well, they just get massively debuffing each other, massively buffing their own defense, so it's very, very hard to finish each other, and the time goes down to 0. And I would say the opposite happens too. So with int versus I, it's also the opposite is happening. I would say in general, I haven't seen a lot of footage of that situation, but I would say that also the time goes to 0. So it's kind of interesting, because you have these three colors that have a circle that it's coherent between each other, but then you have the two teams that are getting timeout. So the question is, how do these three teams perform against these two teams, and how do these two teams perform against the three colors? So this is actually going to be very interesting, because from these arguments we will see what is actually the team that is most worth to invest in, because we will see what's the team that is beating the majority of teams. There's not gonna be one team beating all teams, but there's gonna be a team beating, for example, 3 teams and not just one, as some other might do. So We're gonna start to talk about the quick team because it was the meta in JP for a long time, and now we also have the meta in global. So as I have said, quick team beats the strength team, loses against Dex, and then against Sai and Int, I would say it gets really, really close. So I would say it's really, really close of losing. A lot of time it gets timeout, or it even loses. Like I would say it has a little bit, a slight, very, very slight advantage, and I would say it wins in the big majority of time. Like maybe just like it wins 51% of the times, but I would say it has a slight advantage, but it's very, very close. So I would not really consider Quick to be a team that's consistently beating Sai or consistently beating Int. Also, there's other variations of the Quick team using Capone crew and everything, and these teams lose, I think, to Sai and to Int, I would say. But with this Luffy and the Haze team, Quick team, I would say it's beating in general these two teams, but it's really, really close, yeah, even. So this is one information. Now we talk about the strength team. So as we have said, the strength team destroys Dex, loses to Quick. But against these two teams, actually, it's very interesting because I have not seen, and this is one part where I'm very, very interested in seeing. So if you have footage, I would be really, really interested to see how does strength team performs against in teams. But I do have seen strength teams go up against side teams, and they just destroy them. I mean, it's more close than against Dex, but in general, strength beats size. So that's a very, very cool thing because now we have a team that's in general consistently beating two of the meta teams, and that is actually very impressive because strength was considered to be like the weakest team for a while, for a long time, and now we see that the quick team is consistently beating one, loses against another one, and in general I would say it wins, but it's very, very close, and it loses a lot of times too. But now you have a strength team that's consistently beating two of these meta teams, and the majority of time. So it's actually really, really interesting because from this point of view, strength would be kind of a better team than quick team because yeah, it does not mean that it wins against quick team, but it wins more with more consistency, more teams than the quick team does. So it's actually really cool. So now as I have said, I would be really interested in seeing strength teams perform against in teams. I have tried to see some footage, but I haven't found much. I would say the in team beats them, but maybe there's a possibility that strength team beats int. And if that happened, I would actually be consider the strength team to be one of the best teams because it would be beating three meta teams, but I don't think that happens. But yeah, so now the Dex team, as we have said, it beats the quick team, it loses against strength, and I have not seen a lot of footage of the Dex team going up against these two teams, but because these two teams are so tanky and they have a lot of healing, I would say that the Dex team gets timeout against both Asai and Int, because the massive defense down that Moria gives to Quick, it's only giving defense on level 3 to Sai or Int because there's no Quick units here. And yeah, I would say that the Dex team is just beating Quick, but it loses against the other teams. So that is actually another thing to keep in mind. Like even though that we have units debuffing the quote-unquote meta that was considered, it doesn't mean that it's the best team because it still loses against the other teams in general, I would say. But I do not have seen a lot of matches of the Dex team going up against other teams different than quick teams. So I would also be really interested in seeing Dex team versus side teams or Dex teams versus in teams, but I would have to see more footage about that. I would say they lose, but I'm not sure. So this is it. So now we see the result of side teams and in teams because we have been talking about the perspective from these three colors. So in terms of the side team, can kind of be very, very close to the quick team, and depending on some variation of the quick team, it can actually beat them. It loses against strength. I'm not sure about that one, but I do think it can win against Dex, but also both teams are really tanky with a lot of defense. So but the side team relies on fixed damage, so probably that is something that will work very, very well against the Dex team, but I'm not sure about that because I haven't seen a lot of footage of that. But yeah, so the side team, a good option because it is also very close together within. It kind of loses because it gets time out, because the int defense team is very good, and it in general can time out most of the teams. So yeah, I do think that the side team will. It's not the best option because even with a Straw Hat Crew, like it doesn't defeat a team straight up. Maybe Dex, but I'm not sure about that one. But anyway, the strength team already destroys Dex, so the side team does not have a clear opponent in which you will guarantee yourself the win. Um, but the strength team does, for example, and it's very close and very good to a lot of other meta teams, but it does not get that clear win in my opinion for what I have seen. But yeah, so and respecting the int team, it's a little bit the same. It's really close with Quick. It I'm not sure about against Dex, but against Side is also really close. Maybe it gets time out, maybe it wins, maybe it loses. I think it's really close together because these two colors just massively counter themselves and each other. So yeah, the same for the going for the in team. It's in my opinion the same for the side team. It's getting a very strong team, but it will be very close against most of the meta teams, but will not guarantee yourself a win against one or two of them. So the final conclusion, it would seem like the quick team wins against one and loses against another one, and it's very close to the two others. The strength team wins against two, loses against one, and actually it's pretty interesting because for what I have been saying before, that I have not seen a lot of footage of strength versus int. I have only seen one match, and the strength team actually won. So it's actually pretty interesting because if strength actually beats int, you have strength beating dex, psi, and int, and then that would be the most worth team to invest for. And yeah, so the dex team wins against one, loses against one, and probably kind of loses against the other two. So even though it counters the what was till now the meta team, quote unquote, it actually only wins against that meta team in general. So it's pretty interesting, this new meta. And then I have already talked about the Sai and in team. So if you ask me what is the most worth team to invest for, it's actually kind of surprising that I'm saying that, but actually I do think it's worth to go for a strength team, because you have guaranteed wins against, well, kind of guaranteed wins against two of the meta teams, and probably you can get wins against the in team. And yeah, it loses to quick, but still, then if you go, for example, for a strength team, you pull for legend super type keep now in September, and you only need to pull for him because for example, the super type law is not guaranteed. It's not necessary for the dex team. You can use other units. You can actually just pull for him, and then you wait 3 months and pull for Kizaru, and you have a team to beat Quick, a team to beat Dex, a team to beat Sai, maybe a team to beat Int with Strength. But if Strength doesn't beat Int, the others really struggle a lot too. So I'm sure there's a weird combination of units that can beat Int, but from these meta teams I'm talking about. And then the only problem would be beating a Strength team, but you have a mirror match, so maybe you can do some arrangements to beat the strength team. And also, if you have already some quick units, probably you can already beat the strength team with the quick team maybe not complete that you have. So you don't really need Luffy, I think, to beat the strength team. But yeah, so it's actually pretty surprising, but I'm starting to change my mind, and I think I still have to make the final decision about that, but I think I'm not gonna go for Luffy or Law. I'm just gonna go for Kid all in, and then maybe I'm gonna go for Whitebeard versus Shanks to guarantee at least the possibility of getting the Sai and the in team, because if I can get these 4 teams, it doesn't really matter if I have not managed to get the quick team because I will have a team to beat it later. And till Kizaru comes, maybe I can probably do something against the quick teams with the side team. So that would be a very, very good option, but I still have to decide about that. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think you're gonna be doing and where are you gonna be saving your gems. There's a lot of units that could be used instead of these ones. This was just like an idea of a team. For example, for a strength team, you can use this BB, you can use the Legend B1 Whitebeard 6+, the Legend Jack, you can use Rayleigh for a Dex team, you can use a Halloween Shanks for the in team, the Straw Hat Crew for the side team, maybe Dofi for an in team, Jozu. You can use a lot of options, Queen for a Dex team, or even Komurasaki or Mihawk for a massive health cut. So you can do a lot of different stuff. This is just was one example, and so that you saw an image of the video talking about the meta teams and everything like that, but it was more of a discussion on how they perform against each other and not about the specific compositions of the team. So yeah, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about this video and what are you gonna be doing in the future, because we're gonna be getting a lot of banners, and deciding on where to pull is gonna be a hard decision. It's if you're free to play or semi free to play, still you probably won't be able to get all of these new units, like get the Luffy, the Kid, the Law, the Whitebeard versus Shanks, the Marco, after that Toki, Reiju, Straw Hat Crew, Kizaru, a lot of new legends, so you have to prioritize a lot. And in the middle of that there's this PvP Smoker, the PvP Gavan, so yeah, you have to manage your gems very, very carefully. So I think this is what I'm gonna be doing, going for Kid Team September, end of September, Whitebeard versus Shanks, skipping the PvP Smoker to maybe go for PvP Gavan, where Whitebeard versus Shanks is gonna be also available. So maybe I skip the release of Whitebeard versus Shanks and go for them in the PvP banner, where I can also get Smoker. So I think that's also a good idea. Then you have a couple of months until Toki, Straw Hat Crew, and Kizaru came out, so I'm definitely gonna be going for Kizaru. Maybe I will pick up Straw Hat Crew or Toki in the middle, but the main unit to go for is Kizaru, so that you can get two of the meta teams with which you can kind of counter most of the meta teams, or just get a mirror match. So yeah, but that's gonna be it for today. Let me know in the comment section down below, and as always, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.